Webs Max here, and today we're going to be looking at the basics of modding your weapons. Now, the modding systems in Warframe are very, very difficult and very in-depth,
Operator, this is
so
for
we're
me
going to be
too.
covering this over
Will you
multiple
begin another
videos, but
mission?
today we're going to be covering the very, very basics. Today I'm going to be modding the Gorgon Wraith. If you guys don't know, we have Razorback, and I'll be making a video on that. This is a weapon that you get from there, but this is the same idea. You mod all the
If I may
weapons the
say,
same
Operator, your chosen
general
Warframe
way.
suits you.
So in a base you have mods like Serration here, which is damage for your primary. You'll have Hornet Strike for your secondary, and you'll have drawing a blank on the name of that one. Pressure point for your melee. And when you're modding weapons, you want to really mod for what they're already strong for. When I first started, I kind of started modding for things that the gun was weak for to try and even it out, but realistically, it's just a waste of time. So all mods get the damage mod. So all guns are going to get this. But you have a limited number of points for your slots. So up in the top left corner, you see capacity. I only have 24 capacity, and the top right corner of each of these mods has a cost. So when it comes to a weapon like the Gorgon Wraith, it's got pretty low stats overall. So for this one, I would want to be modding more for status, because it's got a slightly higher status chance. But again, when you're looking at status, you want higher fire rate as well. So it's got an auto trigger, and its fire rate is 13.33. So this is a pretty basic beginner weapon. So obviously throw in your Serration. Fast hands increase your reload speed. So you basically just read each of the mods. You know, they'll let you know what they do, and they're really self-explanatory. When it comes to the elemental mods is when things start to get a little more complicated. So a status chance is per bullet how much percentage you have to proc a status effect on an enemy. And the status effects are based on the damage type of the weapon as well as the elemental type that you put onto it. So right now it's 15% status chance, and the highest is impact. So I can have an impact proc on an enemy. If I throw heat on here, so now I have a 15% per bullet to proc heat. And take that off, you can put cold, you can put, toxin, you can put electric, whatever you want. Now, you can also combine these, so hot, cold equals blast, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's an explosion. Heat, electric equals radiation, so enemies you get hit with this, they get proc radiation, will become almost confused. They'll start attacking other of their allies. Makes it a lot better for crowd control. Heat and infected, so toxin is gas. This used to be really good with a bunch of different multipliers, but this spreads from enemy to enemy. This is especially effective against things like the infested, sorry. And each combination, so blast is one you'll need, so heat and cold. The other one that I use all the time is corrosive, and what that is every time it procs, it takes away a percentage of the armor based on the damage that you have for the corrosive. So right now 48 corrosive, so it'll take away that so much away from the armor every time it procs. So you can have some pretty interesting builds. We're gonna go through just some pretty basic weapons. I mean, the Dread here is a crit build, so if you look at its base stats, so it has 50% base crit, so every other shot should crit. So that's what I'm going to mod for. Status is only 20%, so not really worth modding for. So if we go to the mods that I have on it, so there's my mod setup. So I have 125% crit chance, which means that I'll be doing 4.4 times damage every shot with a 25% chance beyond that to do, from what I understand, 8.8 times damage. So double your crit multiplier because it'll be an orange crit. And then a red crit would be 3 times the multiplier, to be 13.2. And that's just the way I set up for this, because again, it's a crit base, it's a bow, so I mean, you're not firing fast, so status really doesn't affect it. This does have a little bit of status, and I have it set for corrosive, just to rip armor off to make the crits that more effective. Moving into something like the X-Stiletto, where it has higher status, so I modded for the status, as you can see, 95.1 status chance. Ribbon mods, just other mods you can get, which is what this is. It's a specific mod for a specific weapon, and it just has random things you can reroll. I'll be covering those in great depth later on, but they're just mods you have. So as you can see here, it's modded for high status chance, it's got really, really good fire rate, and it's modded for corrosive and cold, so to slow enemies down with the cold and then rip their armor off. Very, very basic build. A lot of these mods are not the easiest to get a hold of, so I mean, you can build very basic builds that do very well up to the point that you'll be fighting. The majority of my builds are going to be set for the way I play, which will be Swordy, which will be Kuba Floods, which are level 100 enemies. So just keep in mind, you're not going to have primed mods right away. You're not going to have things like Healing Return. You're not going to have things like Condition Overload right away. Just build the weapon the best you can and make do. Do your best and you get better. With modding, there is no set way to mod. If you want to mod for a specific thing, say you don't like corrosive, you want to mod for viral and half the enemy's health, or you want to mod for toxin and just add those dot damage effects, like, you can completely do that, and it works very well in its own sense. But the way I play is just, again, set up for end game, just slaughtering things. The difference with melee compared to the other ones is you get this stance mod slot, which increases the capacity we talked about earlier for your mods. And when it comes to melee is one of the most powerful things in the game, because you have mods like Condition Overload and mods like Blood Rush, which there's combo counters and stuff like that when it comes to melee that increase the stats of the weapon. So Condition Overload was something like a high status build, like with this. Every time an enemy gets affected by a status effect, I'm doing 60% more damage. So I have Corrosive and Slash on him with Heat. So Heat is chunking away at their health, Corrosive is chunking away at their armor, and the Slash is going to be chunking away at their health. So with those, 3 procs on them, assuming there's no other procs on them, then I'll be doing, 60 times 3, so 180% damage per hit. Which, I mean, the enemy's gonna die pretty quick. So, just reading the mods helps a lot, and if there's a mod that you don't know what it does, throw it on and test it. The basics of modding, when it all comes down to it, is experimentation and a little bit of luck. So good luck experimenting with your mods, and if you need any help, feel free to hit me up. Have a good day.